Welcome to our channel. Ready to discover some of the most valuable and rare Kennedy half-dollar coins? These iconic coins could be worth thousands in the right condition. Stay tuned for the incredible stories behind these hidden treasures. The 1972 Kennedy half-dollar tells a story that many overlook, hidden in the ordinary and disguised in something as familiar as spare change. To most, it's just a coin. A simple 50-cent piece bearing the image of a beloved president. But for collectors, historians, and lucky discoverers, it's a link to the past, an object of immense curiosity, and sometimes, staggering value. Few coins blend symbolism, design, and historical context so powerfully while offering the possibility of a life-changing find. And the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar is one of them. Following the assassination of President John F. Kennedy in November of 1963, the country was immersed in grief. It was a moment that reshaped the national consciousness. In response to this tragic event, there was a nationwide desire to honor him in a permanent and meaningful way. Within weeks, it was decided that the existing Franklin half-dollar would be replaced with one bearing Kennedy's image. That decision led to one of the fastest coin redesigns in American history, with the Kennedy half-dollar first entering circulation in 1964. By the time 1972 arrived, it had already become an iconic and widely recognized coin in American pockets. The obverse of the coin showcases Kennedy's left-facing profile, a strong and solemn portrait designed by Gilroy Roberts. Above him, the word Liberty stretches across the top curve of the coin, while the motto "In God We Trust" runs along the lower portion, separated by the base of the bust. The year 1972 rests firmly below his collar. On the reverse, Frank Gasparo's design remains majestic, featuring the Great Seal of the United States, an eagle clutching arrows in one talon and an olive branch in the other, shield over its chest, wings outstretched, and encircled by 50 stars representing each state. This combination of images captures strength, peace, and unity, a powerful tribute to the late president and the ideals he represented. The 1972 Kennedy half-dollars were struck at three major U.S. mint locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint contributed a different role in the coin's production. The Philadelphia and Denver mints focused on coins intended for circulation, while the San Francisco mint produced proof coins aimed at collectors. These proof coins were struck with extra care, using specially prepared dies and polished blanks to create mirror-like surfaces and frosted details. While millions of these coins were produced, only a select few would eventually gain legendary status in the collector world. One reason for that is error coins. Errors, especially rare ones, can elevate the value of any coin dramatically. And in the case of the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar, one particular error became famous: the "No FG" variety. These error coins are missing the designer's initials, FG, short for Frank Gasparo, on the reverse side between the eagle's right leg and tail feathers. Normally, those initials are visible on every Kennedy half-dollar. But in some cases, particularly those struck at the Denver Mint, aggressive die polishing removed the initials completely. This wasn't intentional, it was a result of the mint attempting to prolong the life of a die. Yet that small missing detail created one of the most desired varieties in the series. The 1972 No FG half-dollars are rare. They're not something you find every day in circulation. But they do exist. And for collectors, discovering one is the equivalent of finding a diamond in the rough. The key to their value isn't just the missing initials, but also the condition of the coin. If a No FG error is found in mint state, meaning it was never circulated and retains its original luster, its value increases exponentially. Condition always matters. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with higher numbers indicating better preservation. Coins that score MS-65, MS-66, or MS-67 are highly sought after. A 1972 Kennedy half-dollar with a rare error and a grade above MS-66 is extremely hard to find and even harder to afford. Beyond this, the eye appeal, meaning how clean, well-struck, and visually appealing the coin looks, can also heavily influence its market value. Coins with sharp details in Kennedy's hair, clean fields free from scratches or contact marks, and well-defined feathers on the eagle's wings stand out. San Francisco proof coins, meanwhile, offer a different kind of appeal. These coins were never meant for circulation. Instead, they were sold in special sets to collectors. Some of them feature what's called deep cameo or ultra cameo contrast, where the design elements are frosted and stand out against a mirror-like background. A deep cameo proof in PR69 or PR70 condition is a beauty to behold and a centerpiece for any serious collection. These high-grade proofs from 1972 are incredibly difficult to come by, especially when perfectly preserved. Aside from errors and condition, there's also the emotional appeal. The Kennedy $50 remains a tribute to a president whose charisma, ideals, and tragic end left an indelible mark on the nation. For many, collecting these coins isn't just about value, it's about honoring that legacy. It's about holding history in your hands, knowing that this small, round piece of metal carries with it stories of national mourning, artistic excellence, and patriotic pride. Then comes the market demand. The Kennedy series has seen a resurgence in collector interest over recent years, especially as younger generations begin discovering the beauty of American coinage. Popular shows, social media communities, and numismatic forums have made rare coin collecting more accessible and visible than ever. Stories of valuable finds, coins picked out of circulation or discovered in old family collections, fuel the curiosity and drive to search. Among these, the 1972 Kennedy $50 stands tall as one of the most exciting and potentially rewarding discoveries. There are accounts of people unknowingly spending these rare coins, unaware of their value. And others, more fortunate, have found them tucked away in old boxes or change jars. What makes the 1972 Kennedy $50 so exciting is that it isn't some unreachable artifact, it's a coin that was mass-produced, held by millions, and still floats around today. And yet, a few rare examples carry immense worth, waiting quietly to be found by someone who takes a moment to look a little closer. One such coin made headlines not only for its pristine condition and flawless mint state but also for featuring the highly desirable, no FG error. Combined, these traits created a perfect storm of rarity and demand. After professional grading and intense interest from top-tier collectors, the coin reached an astonishing value. This 1972 Kennedy $50, born from an ordinary minting year, with a simple error and perfect preservation, sold for a staggering $129,000. The 1982 Kennedy $50 holds a secret that most people never notice. It's one of those coins that slips through hands quietly, rarely getting a second glance, often tossed in a jar or dropped into a drawer. But hidden beneath its familiar shine is a story that only a few truly understand, one filled with unique decisions at the U.S. Mint, rare errors, and the kind of quiet value that can take collectors by complete surprise. Most people who hold this coin will never know what it could be worth. But for those who pay close attention, for those willing to study the subtle details and understand its history, the reward can be life-changing. This coin isn't just a piece of metal, it's a rare moment in American numismatic history frozen in time. In 1982, the Mint made a decision that set the stage for rarity. Unlike previous years, Kennedy $50 were not released into circulation. Instead, they were minted exclusively for collector sets. This meant that unless someone went out of their way to buy a mint set that year, they wouldn't have encountered a 1982 $50 in their change. That alone makes it stand apart. A coin that never really entered the public's hands becomes far more scarce over time, especially when many of those original mint sets were broken apart or damaged. But what really pushes this coin into the spotlight is what came out of Philadelphia that year. Philadelphia had just started adding mint marks to its coins in 1980, using the small p to identify its origin. But in 1982, a small number of Kennedy $50 were struck at the Philadelphia Mint without this mark. No one knows exactly how many made it through, but those that did became instant rarities. These no p coins look identical to the others at first glance, but closer inspection reveals the missing mark above the date, a tiny detail with massive implications. It's this absence, this small moment of error or oversight at the mint, that turned an ordinary coin into something incredibly rare. Now imagine finding one of these coins not just with the missing mint mark, but in pristine condition. That means no scratches, no marks, no signs of wear. Just crisp edges, full detail, and flawless luster. It's extremely difficult to find 1982 $50 in such condition because even mint set coins can develop blemishes over time. Packaging, handling, and simple exposure to air can degrade a coin's surface. So when a coin survives for decades in nearly perfect form, untouched and immaculate, it becomes more than rare, it becomes a treasure, some of these coins were sent to professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC, where they underwent close analysis. A high grade, such as MS-67 or higher, sends a powerful message to the collecting world. It tells everyone that this coin is not only special, but that it has been officially recognized for its outstanding condition. The higher the grade, the more excitement it generates. Collectors know that very few coins from 1982 will ever achieve those kinds of grades, especially when they're also missing the mint mark. Proof coins from 1982, struck in San Francisco, were created with more care and were never meant to circulate either. They often display beautiful mirrored surfaces and sharp frosted details. These are collector favorites in their own right, but it's the Philadelphia business strike coins, the ones that accidentally slipped through the system or carried unexpected variations, that make headlines. And when one of those coins not only escapes into the world but survives without a flaw, it's a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and historical value. There are collectors out there who spend years, even decades, trying to find these specific coins. Some dig through rolls of half-dollars, some check mint sets purchased long ago, some search estate sales or inherit collections from relatives and hope to stumble onto a prize. The thrill isn't just in the coin itself, it's in the hunt. The chance. The unknown. That quiet possibility that something worth a fortune is sitting right in front of you, disguised as a simple 50-cent piece. The stories from the collector community are filled with these moments. A coin bought at face value turns out to be a $1,000 piece. A mint error once overlooked is suddenly recognized as incredibly rare. And every so often, a coin is found that rewrites the value guides completely. That's what happened with one particularly stunning 1982 Kennedy half-dollar. This coin had everything: the rare, no P variety, sharp strike, glowing original luster, and absolutely zero flaws. It wasn't just good, it was nearly perfect. Sent in for grading, it received one of the highest mint state grades ever recorded for its type. Collectors took notice. Interest grew. Auctions began, and when the dust settled, the final price for that single 50-cent coin reached a jaw-dropping $117,000. That's the power of detail, rarity, and preservation. That's what transforms a common coin into something worthy of headlines and history books. So if you've got a box of old coins, a family collection, or even a forgotten mint set from the early 1980s, now might be the time to take a closer look. That simple half-dollar could be more than just change, it might be something truly valuable. And if you're curious about more stories like this one, make sure to subscribe to Rare Coins Numix, because the next treasure might already be in your hands. The 1998 Kennedy half-dollar, on its surface, may seem like just another coin, a standard part of American coinage, bearing the familiar image of President John F. Kennedy. But as with many coins in the world of numismatics, what may appear to be ordinary at first glance can, in fact, hold surprising value. The Kennedy half-dollar series was first introduced in 1964, just months after President Kennedy's assassination, to honor his legacy. For many decades, the coin circulated freely, seen in daily transactions. However, by the 1990s, the coin was no longer widely used in day-to-day commerce. It had shifted from being a regular form of currency to a collector's item, something many people had seen less and less often. As we moved into 1998, the Kennedy half-dollar was being produced primarily for collectors, with only a small amount of circulation strikes being made each year. This particular year marked another step in the coin's transformation into more of a numismatic treasure than a regular form of money. By this time, the U.S. Mint was primarily minting Kennedy half-dollars for special commemorative sets and for collectors who were looking to complete their collections. In 1998, there were both business strike coins made at the Denver and Philadelphia mints, as well as proof coins produced at the San Francisco Mint. But beyond these standard production runs, the U.S. Mint introduced a special set, which contained a limited edition matte finish Kennedy half-dollar struck at the San Francisco Mint. This coin, unlike the traditional proof coins, had a satin-like surface and was part of a limited edition set issued to commemorate Robert F. Kennedy, JFK's brother. These matte finish coins were never released for circulation, and only around 62,000 were made. This limited mintage immediately elevated the coin's desirability among collectors, as it became a rare and highly sought-after piece of history. However, it wasn't just the special matte finish coins that would eventually draw attention. The regular business strike 1998 Kennedy half dollars, which were minted for circulation, had an interesting story of their own. Although these coins were produced in higher quantities, the coins that were preserved in excellent condition became surprisingly scarce. Most of the coins that were released into circulation had been handled, worn, and damaged over the years, and thus finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition became a challenge. A mint state 67 or higher example was already considered a rarity for the 1998 coins, and anything higher, like a mint state 68, was even more elusive. Why did this happen? The answer lies in the production process and the way coins were handled. By the late 1990s, the production of half dollars had dwindled considerably, and the coins that were struck were often stored in ways that didn't prioritize long-term preservation. Many coins were struck and then placed into bags or rolls, subject to handling, rubbing, and movement, which left behind marks and imperfections. This meant that finding a coin in flawless condition, with no surface abrasions, scratches, or other visible defects, was a rare occurrence. That's where the intrigue of the 1998 Kennedy half dollar really began. Because of the general wear and tear that most coins experienced, those that were kept in pristine condition, untouched by circulation, became highly sought after. A coin that was well preserved, with sharp details and a vibrant, lustrous finish, became a rare find. Coins like this were far harder to come by than most collectors realized. Many people who simply grabbed a Kennedy half dollar from a roll or from a bag of coins didn't think twice about its condition. But some people did notice something special about certain pieces. A few savvy collectors began to realize that the 1998 Kennedy half dollar, especially those with exceptional characteristics, was turning into a rare commodity. Some coins from this year, due to slight die variations or other small, overlooked factors, began to emerge as particularly valuable. Variations in the strike, unexpected doubling, or slight marks from the minting process became key indicators for collectors looking to spot a special coin. Even minor variations in the die or the design could make a coin unique, and this subtlety became part of the appeal for serious numismatists. As more collectors paid closer attention, the hunt for perfect examples of the 1998 Kennedy half dollar became a quest. This wasn't just about finding a regular coin, it was about finding a coin in impeccable condition, one that could be graded as a perfect specimen. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin would become. Coins graded in mint state 67 or above are considered excellent, and anything higher than that is considered extraordinary. Eventually, one exceptional coin from the 1998 issue, graded at one of the highest levels ever for the series, was uncovered. This particular coin had all the characteristics that collectors dream of: full luster, sharp details, and no marks or imperfections whatsoever. It was sent to a grading service, and after a thorough examination, it was awarded a top-tier grade. The rarity of such a coin, especially from a modern year like 1998, made it a sensation in the numismatic community. News of this coin's discovery spread quickly among collectors, and it was clear that this was not going to be just another half dollar. It was a monumental find. The coin's sale at auction became one of the most talked about events in the numismatic world. Bidding for this particular 1998 Kennedy half dollar began, and as expected, it quickly escalated. Collectors and dealers alike knew the value of this coin, and the competition was fierce. The final price of the coin exceeded all expectations, eventually selling for an astonishing $89,000. This outcome was a reminder of just how much the world of numismatics can surprise us. The value of a coin is not always tied to its rarity in terms of mintage numbers. Sometimes, a coin becomes valuable because of its condition, the way it has been preserved over time, and the rarity of those factors combined. A coin from 1998, a relatively modern issue, could have easily slipped through the cracks. But for those who are patient and knowledgeable, a simple coin can be transformed into something extraordinary. For many collectors, the discovery of this perfect 1998 Kennedy half dollar was more than just the acquisition of a rare coin, it was a lesson in the hidden potential of seemingly ordinary objects. It's a reminder that what we may pass over in our everyday lives could be more valuable than we realize. For those who pay attention and have a discerning eye, even the most unassuming coins can hold incredible worth. Imagine stumbling upon a coin that seems like just another piece of everyday currency, but over time, you come to realize it's one of the most prized possessions you could ever own. That's exactly what the 2021 Kennedy half-dollar coin represents to collectors around the world. At first glance, it may appear just like any other coin in circulation, with its iconic design featuring President John F. Kennedy. However, as you dig deeper into its history, design, and rarity, you'll discover that this coin is far from ordinary. The Kennedy half-dollar, since its debut in 1964, has captured the attention of numismatists and history enthusiasts alike. Initially minted as a tribute to President Kennedy following his tragic assassination, the coin was widely circulated in the 1960s and 1970s. However, by the time the 2021 version was produced, the Kennedy half-dollar had long since fallen out of regular circulation. The coin's production had become more focused on meeting the demands of collectors rather than the general public. The 2021 coin was part of the ongoing tradition of this iconic series, but what set it apart was the attention to detail and the exceptional quality of the minting process. In 2021, the U.S. Mint produced this coin with the same timeless design that had become synonymous with the Kennedy half-dollar. The obverse features the familiar portrait of President Kennedy, created by sculptor Gilroy Roberts. The reverse side, designed by Frank Gasparo, shows the presidential seal, symbolizing strength and leadership. The design itself, while remaining the same, was produced with modern minting technology that allowed for even greater detail, especially in the proof versions of the coin. While the basic design may have remained unchanged, the production of the 2021 Kennedy half-dollar was not without its advancements. The U.S. Mint's ongoing efforts to produce higher quality coins became evident with this issue. The coins struck at the San Francisco Mint were known as proof coins, and they were produced using a meticulous process designed to create coins with a mirror-like finish and exceptional detail. These proof coins were struck multiple times to ensure a sharp, clear image, giving them a superior luster compared to coins produced for circulation. They were the true showcase of the Mint's abilities, and they quickly gained the interest of collectors, but what really drove the value of the 2021 Kennedy half-dollar to new heights wasn't just the quality of its design or its minting process, it was its rarity. While many were produced, the reality is that most of the coins found in circulation are subject to wear and handling. Finding one in perfect, mint condition is extremely rare. And as with most rare items, it's the scarcity that gives a coin its value. As more and more collectors turned their attention to the 2021 Kennedy half-dollar, those coins that had been carefully preserved or stored in pristine condition began to rise in value. Coin grading plays a crucial role in determining the value of any coin, and the 2021 Kennedy half-dollar was no exception. High-grade coins, such as those with a mint state 68 or higher grade, are rare finds and command premium prices. These top-tier coins are examined meticulously, and their condition, free from any blemishes or imperfections, is what separates them from the rest. The 2021 coin's sharp details and immaculate finish made it a prime candidate for top grades, and when these coins were sent for professional grading, the results were astonishing. As the demand for high-grade 2021 Kennedy half-dollars grew, the value of these coins began to climb. Auctions and private sales of these coins saw prices far above what most collectors had expected. The 2021 coin, which initially seemed like just another release in the ongoing series, soon became one of the most valuable and sought-after coins of its time. For the right coin in the right condition, the price was no longer just a few dollars above face value, it was a small fortune. One of the most remarkable stories came when a near-perfect example of the 2021 Kennedy half-dollar was sold at auction. This coin, preserved in flawless condition, fetched an incredible price, making it clear just how much this particular issue had captured the attention of serious collectors. For anyone lucky enough to own a coin of this caliber, it wasn't just a piece of currency, it was a piece of American history that could be sold for a life-changing sum. But what makes the 2021 Kennedy half-dollar so valuable? It's a combination of factors. First, the historical significance of the Kennedy half-dollar itself cannot be overstated. The coin has come to symbolize more than just a denomination of U.S. currency, it represents the memory of a fallen president and an era of American history. The 2021 version, being a modern issue, stands as a tribute to that legacy. Second, the quality of the minting process, particularly for proof coins, makes the 2021 coin stand out in the series. Finally, it's the rarity of high-quality, uncirculated coins that truly drives the demand and skyrockets the price. this unique blend of historical importance, design excellence, and rarity is what sets the 2021 Kennedy half-dollar apart from other coins in the series. Its value is expected to continue to increase as time passes, especially as collectors who own these rare coins realize just how much they are worth. What might have seemed like an ordinary coin at the time of release has now become one of the most prized and expensive coins in the world of numismatics. If you happen to have a 2021 Kennedy half-dollar in your collection, take a moment to examine it carefully. If it's in excellent condition, you might just be sitting on a hidden treasure. What was once a simple piece of currency has turned into an extraordinary piece of history, worth far more than its face value. And while many may not have anticipated the coin's dramatic rise in value, it has proven to be one of the most valuable and expensive coins in the entire Kennedy half-dollar series. So, don't underestimate that dime or half-dollar in your collection, they could be worth a small fortune.